you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you very much for joining me, even though I believe that many of us are pretty much going to be watching, the game, Arsenal and Real Madrid, I think, right? But for those of us who are here tonight, please read beyond the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast as well. Like it, share it, So invite your friends and your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. And of course, if they miss it, they can watch it later. So tonight, we are starting from another jibe, which is now coming from one of the members of the Nigeria establishment, the Sultan of Sokoto. Saad Abubakar was a guest at an event in Borno State, where the Shehu of Borno, I think, was celebrating 16th year on the throne, or since he was appointed. And they were talking about the insecurity, which seems to suddenly have reimagined, according to them. It never really left, but the endless killings pervading the middle belt part of Nigeria in the last 4 or 5 weeks is so concerning, right? Enough that according to the Sultan of Sokoto, social media spreading different kind of information about what happened or the level of the increasing insecurity up north. To him, shows that social media, which he called organization, right, is a terrorist organization. Now, I've been trying to sort of like process the context behind this, right? But I have come with few, okay, which I'm going to share with us tonight. Yeah, that is like beyond just the jibe, right? What are the other factors underlining, factors that made this person make this kind of declaration? And it was so serious, So we are going to go to Borno State for the next few minutes. And when I come back halfway, right? Yeah, we shall discuss. So do me a favor, as you are joining, remember, please share the broadcast. So let's go to Borno.
So with the agreement of Shehu, with the benevolence of the governor, whom I always found to be so fascinating in how he carries about his responsibilities as the governor of this great state, despite the challenges. You see, Almighty Allah does not make mistakes when he gives leadership to his servants. For he gives leadership to whom he wants, at the time he wants, for as long as he wants, and he'll take it away from anybody whenever he wants. So there must be a reason why the Almighty Allah brought this gentleman at this time in the history of this state and in the history of our country. So I used to ask him in a joking manner, where do you get your strength? And before he could answer, I would tell him it's from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But whoever Allah gives power, he helps him to walk in the best way possible for the Ummah to give leadership to. So as long as you take all your worries, all your cries, all your problems to Almighty Allah, you will never ever go wrong. You will succeed. And that's why I believe Borno is succeeding despite challenges, despite comments which recently brought up some tensions, which were hard comments. And alhamdulillah, since we have brought this meeting here, I think it's best for us to discuss all these issues at the closed door. The insecurity in the country, not in particular, because Borno is here. We are here in Borno, rather, and since we are here, we discuss the happenings in Borno, because we have heard comments of Boko Haram returning, and I say, I would be lying. Boko Haram will never return here, inshallah, because Almighty Allah will give us the strength and the wherewithal to deal with any insecurity situation we find ourselves. I'd like to thank the governor for taking up this challenge of hosting us for the first time in the last 16 years since Shehu became the Shehu. And our coming here is not just, it's by coincidence, yes, but to prove a point that we are all brothers to one another. And as brothers, whatever happens to you, a brother also happens to you. And whatever we can do, we must do to help your brother. At least we fixed this meeting to hold in Maiduguri for so many reasons. But one best reason is for us to strengthen our unity, our brotherhood as brothers in this great country, in this great state, in this greater states of the North. And I believe we are doing just that. So our coming together is to debunk any insinuation of the insecurity returning to Borno. Yes, there is insecurity in Borno, in some parts of Borno, it's okay. There's insecurity everywhere in the world, not only in Nigeria. But some of us that go around the world, we know, more people are killed in some developed countries every day than the total amount of people killed in Nigeria in a month or in 2 months. So insecurity is everywhere. And the fact that there is insecurity, there are clashes here, there is killings here and there, should wake us up for us to take action on what do we do to stem the tide of this endless and merciless and madness that's going about killing innocent people. And I think it's important for us to work harder and talk to ourselves. And in the closed session, we will do that. They will come up with what we believe we should advise our political leaders. They are the helm of affairs, and we believe in changes, and Almighty Allah has brought changes, brought the political leaders to govern the spaces that we have been there before, and we have no qualms about it. We are not worried about it, but we must work with them, and we are working with them. And so many of them, like the governor of Borno, has been one who has been working closely with traditional institutions, and I think he's been successful at some extent. So our coming together as traditional leaders in the North, senior traditional leaders, and I believe we have over 86 first-class traditional leaders in the North. We're speaking with one voice to say enough is enough of these senseless killings of innocent people across the North, across the country. We have never, and we will never support it. We've never felt happy about it. We have always been sad whenever we hear such things. And we have released so many statements of condemnation. How many more times do we need to condemn all these things before our political leaders use our security agencies to bring to an end, or at least to reduce to the barest minimum the insecurity in our country? We will not get tired of holding our leaders. So with the agreement of Shehu,
he has no job. He has.
Because that's what should sound like. So everyone will listen to that. So the highlight of all is said is an outright living in denial, okay? And he ruined it all when he said the number of people killed in developing countries in a single day is more than the people killed in Nigeria in 1 month. Emphasis on the word killed, which means people who were killed. right? I beg, in all sincerity, is that true? Just in the last 2 weeks alone, we already have the reports of over 100 Nigerians killed in series of attacks by the Fulani terrorists in Benue and in Plateau states, just 2 states alone. In the last 2 weeks, more than 100 people killed. Do you have similar news from any part of the world right now that in the last 2 weeks, so a particular gang, right, in this country killed over 100 people? And it was more like, yeah, you know, people die here, but come on, people die everywhere. It is not how they die per se. Whenever they die, just kind of, you know, living in denial. He said in his first speech there, he said the meeting, whatever that meeting was, because according to him, it was meant to be the gathering for the 16th year of the Ashewu of Borno. All right. So the meeting holding or being held in Borno State disprove what they read in, what he read or saw in the news, which was that the insecurity is becoming terrible again. Boko Haram are now coming back. So you get, he said, well, the fact that they could host them in that place, that time, has disproved that. But while he was saying that, the person that raised the alarm was kind of like seated there. It was Zulum. I mean, it was Zulum who raised the alarm of the comeback of the Boko Haram in his own states. And he said, he swore that he would do everything within his power to make sure that Boko Haram never come back. He was the one. It wasn't some random people anywhere. So he went on to say, you know, you are here to help your brother, brother must help brother, and stuff like that. You're like, what are you talking about? How are you helping them? Kind of, anyway, yeah? So then he went on again, right, to pretend that like he cares, you know, and you could see through all of that. But here is the highlight of it. When, apart from trying to justify the Fulani terrorist, Boko Haram terrorists that invaded Temagbo, they invaded a part of Borno State. They killed, I mean, it was like they actually attacked a base, military base. They slaughtered some of these soldiers, which they have been living in denial of. They said they sustained injuries and all of that. When they entered, they carted away weapons, right? And all of this happened just about last week. The operation that's kind of like brings back the memory of when the Boko Haram will be invading, you know, military bases up north. But in the middle belt part of Nigeria, right, the Fulani terrorists were also running berserk. They were everywhere, slaughtering. In Bokos, right, over 13 people slaughtered, buried, right? In was Bassa, another local government area in Borno, I mean, in Plateau State, 51 people slaughtered, including women and children. In all of this, right, not a single arrest has been made, or even an effort to go after this terrorist, you know, the real terrorist that kills people. But the Sultan of Sokoto is kind of more triggered about the social media, the place they believe it's unfortunate that they have no means of actual controlling the narrative on this platform. Here is the Sultan.
What happened has happened, and it's there written. You can't come and be through social media. So that's one terrorist organization, social media. Social media is a terrorist organization. What they do, what they put somebody in his comfort room and formulate stories, and you will swear that it's true. So, social media is a terrorist organization that we must deal with. Security agencies must deal with this terrorist organization called social media. So we're not happy with what's been happening either on the plateau or some.
Did you hear that? Pretend like you are not happy. Because a lot of people are not happy, right? But let me pretend that we are not happy. We are not happy because all of you are just talking about it. It never used to be like this. This one that when you just tap your phone, everything you want to know is there. You want to see the videos of all the attacks, the victims being buried and all of that. Everything is just out there. So there is no room for cover-up. There is no room for media cover-up that they will say 2 people died when more than 200 people died. So it is the information war world that we are living in. And that is bad for business, especially for the elites, the ruling class of that contraption. Not just them, it's all about the place. So they've made so many efforts to try, because you see, the same way that you can have access to just any information, even when you are not even seeking them, they just land on your lap. So conspiracy theorists, right? They now have evidence to back some of their conspiracies. Now they are no longer conspiracies where people can say, it's conspiracy. No. Now, conspiracy theories are having more evidence released from the misrule of your ruiners. And also, don't forget to, it is this same Sultan of Sokoto that became so angry that the southwest Nigeria, the Yorubas, could be so loud and critical of Sharia law or Sharia court in Yoruba land. To him, that was strange. So to him, it was like, there's some certain things that they're like already settled. You get that now? Like the way this system works, all right, it is settled. You give me, we give you, we give me this, we give you this. It's all about, you want power, you want wealth, right? Give us this and give us that. Hand over this, I release that. And in the process, right, all you have to use is say, in the name of national peace, national progress. Then people resisted. Social media campaign was so much that people from the Satan's palace, right, probably shared with him what people were saying about him on social media. But people are reacting to real life issues, real life stories. You know, I do tell you, by the way, right, that sometimes you may sit down, right, you may sit down there in your comfort zone, chill, just listening to all this talk. You know, some of them will be interesting, some of them will be like boring, but somehow, you have all the mixture of, it's like a cocktail, right? Of like a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster kind of a thing. Sometimes you find it and say, wow, that one. Others, you just don't feel like it, right? So we are in the world where information is, you know, right there on our faces, right? So I actually said this some times ago that, you know, ignorance is kind of like by choice now in this day and time. So ignorance is by choice for anybody who wants to be ignorant. So the establishment in Nigeria, again, like I said, who believed that some of these things can be just given. So people resisting to him, right? That's a loss of control. To some extent, right? It became strong debate that it was like, that was like, you know, a few years back, that would be considered as a blasphemy to confront the Sultan of Sokoto whenever he says something. And he's not the only person who feels like this. Severally, like even under Buhari, if you remember, they made so much effort, right, to criminalize activism and then legalize terrorism. If you will remember, activist, if you say something about